Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I'm going to bring you a replay in the Gorynych KV5, one of my favourite tanks in the game, and definitely my favourite tier 8 heavy, I believe. So on a whole haloof, I'm platooned with Curtis, also in his Gorynych, and because this was during the +1-1 event, I believe we're top tier, because you're guaranteed to be top tier if you're in preferential vehicles. Now, there's only one artillery to be wary of. But apart from that, I'm feeling pretty good because they don't have that many in the way of tank destroyers, which are obviously this thing's main threat. Now, the KV5, I used to say it was my favourite tank in the game, at tier 8 heavy, should I say. And it's still kind of true. The T-32 is what I consider the best heavy, in terms of the heavy tank at tier 8 that I have the best games in on the most regular basis. Which is good and all, having good games and just reliable, easy games in the T-32, but this is the tank that I have the most fun in at tier 8 heavy. And really, I always compare the feeling of playing the KV5 to that of the KV2. It's a tank that I play expecting that there's going to be lots of games where I do 0 damage or hardly any damage because I miss every shot or I bounce a load of shots, but I still have fun anyway. In the same way that a KV2, I go into every game expecting that there's going to be a lot of games where I just miss every shot and RNG doesn't go my way. But like the KV2, in this tank, even when I have the bad games, I just still have fun. I just feel good when I play a KV5. Now, I feel best when I play it against tier 10 tanks, just because no one expects a KV5 to do good in a tier 10 game. And when you kill tier 10 heavies in a Gorynych, it's one of the best feelings in World of Tanks, in my opinion, of course. So that's basically why I love the KV5 as much as I do. It's only got some decent stats to it as well. I've just been talking shite while I've been waiting to drive over to position over at the heavy corner here in Al Khalifa. Now I don't really have gun depression, but I don't need it. The stats of this tank that are good are its DPM, so very nice damage per minute for a heavy tank. 300 alpha is decent, considering the damage per minute. And gun handling actually works quite well on this tank for me. Armour also works quite well if you angle the tank. You just have to stay on the move whilst being angled. If you stay still, everyone's going to pen you. Do the multiple weak punch in front of your tank. The bad stats, primarily, it's obviously got terrible pen. That's the thing everyone knows the KV5 for. 167 standard pan, not ideal. As I see this T-32 in front of me, I've got standard loaded. I'm going to shoot him in the lower plate in a moment, and I am actually going to bounce. So premium going in while I go deal with this T-32. Now the other thing about the KV5 that's nice is that it's really good at making silver. So with my loadout, could I refuse to carry more premium than standard rounds? I've got 35 AP and 20 APCR. 20 APCR is just enough to where, even if I fire all of them in a game, providing I just pen a few of them, I will make profit. That's what the KV5 does. And as you see, I'm pushing very aggressive. The enemies have not really moved from their base. Although to be fair, neither has a lot of our team. I'm in position, and what I'm going to do is, when I peek, I'm going to constantly move backwards and forwards. Now I've already bounced almost 1,000 damage here. And you're going to see that as I poke out again, constantly move backwards and forwards. Almost reloaded, push out, constantly move backwards and forwards. You have bounced multiple shots from the Dragon, multiple shots from the Emil. And this is there trying to get across to people. Lots of people say that this tank's got really weak armour, as artillery hits me there. Because you can just pen this thing straight through the turret if you miss the gun mantlet. But that requires people to hit it. By the way, ram kill. I know he technically rammed me, but I'm counting that as a ram kill. Which is basically customary in a KV5 game. But yes, although you can pen this thing in the turret if you hit the flat part, just move, and you'll be surprised. I know that sounds pretty obvious, and you would think, well, how effective will that be? You've seen it this game, you see it in lots of my games, you see it in lots of other people's games. Those constant micro movements can actually be quite annoying. Especially on certain tanks, like for example, on the T95 E6 and the T110 E5, those American tanks with the big machine gun turrets. It looks like a big weak point on the T95 E6, but when he's moving backwards and forwards, I've missed that thing a lot. Now, put a shot on the move. I actually managed to hit the Ragnarok, but I bounced, unfortunately. Now, someone in my tank, crew-wise, is dead, and I don't have a med kit. Now, I don't know who's dead. I'm assuming it's the Radio Man, since he usually dies in every KV5 game you ever play, because he sits in that droid at the front. So I'm just assuming it's him that's dead. I don't know if it is. Now, I'm going to load APCR in a moment, because that is a T-28 Proto. His armor against the KV5 is amazing. And for me to pen him frontally, I'm really going to have to hit the cheeks of his turret. The Drogon just sat in the open, so I'm going to try and finish him off. Thankfully, his turret isn't the strongest if I can hit it flat on, which I do. And now he's just got the T-28 Proto, and I can survive a shot by him, so it's not too bad. Now, first shot into the upper plate. Now I'm aiming for the turret. Get the pan, move forwards. And if you look at the mini-map, it's just an absolute annihilation. The enemy team didn't move from base, and that kind of came back to bite them in the end, because it allowed me and Curtis to just move in. And I do actually pick up the kill at the end. So, not an amazing game damage-wise in the KV5, but you don't play the KV5 for those amazing damage games. I just rolled about and had fun just because it was a KV5. That's all there is to it. Just over 3,000 damage, but I did get 7 kills. Which KV5 is very good at doing with that 300 alpha and decent rate of fire. Block 2,500 almost, and this was an ace tanker in this tank. So, I do have another KV5 replay that I'll be showing in a few days' time. A bit of a better game, but I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.